Hello everyone, let me check. Can you hear me clearly? Yes or no? Is it clear? Nobody answers me. Okay, let me check. Hello everyone. Is it clear? Okay. Thank you. Okay, well, actually today we are going to learn two topics. The first one is about arithmetic sequence, and the second one is about comparison and replacement word problem. Actually, for the basic concepts we already before in the first round of live streams, I hope you still remember. Okay, so here, everyone, again, please take out a piece of blank paper and your pencils, because later we are going to do some calculations. Okay? Yeah, are you ready? Okay, good. Now let's start from the first part. It is for arithmetic sequence. To be honest, I feel this topic is a bit challenging, but actually it is very important in P3 and P4 Math Olympiad competition as well as GEP Math. So for the first one, let's start from the example of a frog. Well, as you can see, there is a frog, and for every time it jumps, it can move on by 3 meters. So now, everyone, let me show you. Make 1 jump, 2 jumps, and 3 jumps. So could you please tell me what is the total distance? Well, when it comes to the total distance, you need to consider the distance of each interval, right? So here, could you please tell me what is the total distance here? What is the total distance? Correct, that is a 9 meter, right? So actually, this is for the first one. You see, the number of jumps multiplied by each jump, then you will get the total distance. And here, let's try to relate this to the number sequences. How can we learn arithmetic sequence? By a frog question. Okay, let me show you. Now, again, there are so many frogs, right? And here, I just turn them into the numbers. Well, you see, the first frog is called number 2, and the second frog is called number 6, and move on, frog 10, and then number 14, and then number 18. Then, following this, let's have a look. What can you find? Well, you see that from 2 to 6, we just add 4. From 6 to 10, we add 4. From 10 to 14, we add 4. From 14 to 18, we add 4. So here, we always plus 4, right? So here, we call such number sequence as arithmetic sequence. Yes, and for the first number, we just call it as the first term. Then for the last one here, we call it as the last term or nth term. So here, what about the plus 4, plus 4, plus 4? Well, here we call them as common difference, okay? Then following this, let's back to the definition of arithmetic sequence. There is an ordered set of numbers that have a common difference between each consecutive term. So here, letter N, it represents the number of terms. For example, what about the value of 6, which means N equals to 6? What about the number of 100th term, which means N equals to 100, okay? Yeah. So following this, let's just have some quick quiz, okay? As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, frog per frog. So how many jumps are there? What is the number of jump? Correct, that is 2, super easy. And what is the number of turns? That is just 3, right? Okay, then following this again, what about the number of jumps? You can see that it is 3. And what about the number of turns? That is 4, okay? And then following this again, next one, what is the number of jumps? Yeah, you can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there are 6 jumps. So how many terms are there? It should be 7, right? So following this, everyone, can you find some pattern? Can you find some pattern? I think you should be quite familiar with this, right? Because actually previously we learned the interval problem. I hope you still remember that. Okay, for the interval problem, actually, you see, that is for the gap. Just like for your hand, you see that we have 5 fingers. Well, how many gaps are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 gaps, right? So when it comes to the arithmetic sequence, again, how many numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many jumps? How many intervals are there? Only 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this is also the first key point. That is the number of jumps equals to the number of terms minus 1. That is quite similar as the interval problem. So now following this, everyone, it's your turn. Okay, I only give you 3 seconds for each question. Ready? Go. 3 terms. How many jumps? Quickly. A, B, C. Which one? Quickly input your answer in the chat box. Oh, yeah, I saw some students said it is quite related to the tree planting question. Yeah, very similar. Good job. That is A. Super easy, right? Okay, next one. 10 terms. How many jumps? How many? Yes, correct. 9 jumps. Okay, jump is just regarding as the interval, right? Okay, next one. To get to the 6th term, how many jumps are there? Quickly. Yeah, correct. Good job. That is a B. Okay, and next one, to get the 20th term, how many jumps are there? Yes, good job, 19. Okay, so following this, let's move on to some calculation part. Everyone, quickly take out your paper and pencil. So you can see that in this sequence, we have number 2, number 9, number 16, number 23, number 30. Okay, so firstly, you just observe it and try to find if there is any pattern. While 2 to 9, we just plus 7. 9 to 16, add another 7. 16 to 23, add another 7. 23 to 30, add another 7, right? So what about when it comes to 8th term? To get the 8th term, okay, so how many jumps are there? How many jumps? How many jumps? Correct. It should be 7 jumps, right? Okay, for 7 jumps, and then think about it. For each jump, okay, so here you see what is the common difference? That is 2 plus what? Plus 7, right? But pay attention. Well, for the number in this number sequence, do we just start from 0? No. So what is the first number? Correct. The first number is 2, which means actually here, we must start from 2 and following this, we make 7 jumps, okay? What is the meaning of A minus 1 here? This is for the number of intervals. Then for each interval, we can just move on by 7. So this is the answer, 51. Okay, let me check how many of you answered this one correctly. Maybe you can just share with an emoji. Thumb up. How many of you figure out? Good job, quite a few. Yeah. So this is for the first part, okay? The 8th term, that is 51. So for the next one, it's your turn, okay? Let me check. I give you maybe 30 seconds. Do. Okay, the 25th term is, have a try. Go. The 25th one. So think about it. To get the 25th term, how many jumps are there? Yes. Calculation. Please be careful. I saw some different answers. Well, some students got 170, some students got 160, some students got 180. Wow, which one? Which one? Okay, now let's have a look again. Based on 2, now you see that how many intervals are there? How many jumps are there? We have 24, right? And then again, for each jump, that is just a move on by 7. So this is answer 170, correct? Okay, it should be 170. Now, following this, let's have a look. Since you already know that, how do we figure out the specific term that is always related to the number of jumps? Then, what about if sometimes we cannot figure out jumps? So here, let me show you again. The frog is coming back. Okay, the frog is starting from 0 meter. And following this, every jump, again, it just moves on by 3 meter. So now, 3 meter, 3 meter, 3 meter, 3 meter, until the frog can reach 30 meters. So could you please tell me what is the total distance here? What is the total distance? Yes, super easy, right? From 0 to 30, of course, there are 30 meters. And then Could you please tell me how many jumps are there? If you know that the total distance is 30 meters, and we know that for each jump, it is a 3 meter. So what is the number of jumps? What is the number of jumps? Hello, Chloe. Okay, good. That is a 30 divided by 3, which is 10. But let's have a look. How many terms are there? Is it also 10? If I just ask you, okay, how many frogs are there? Is it just a 10? Based on 10, what should we do? Pay attention for jumps, it is always for the interval. But what is for the terms? That is how many numbers are there? How many numbers? Is it 9? Pay attention. Good job, it should be 11, okay? So based on the intervals, what should we do then? We need to add one more. So here, plus one more, okay? Yeah. So following this, let's have a look. The arithmetic sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, until 42 has a total of how many terms? Well, firstly, again, from 2 to 42, think about it. What is the total distance? Well, how can you find the total distance? That is actually, there are some small jumps. So how many small jumps are there? And following this, do remember to plus 1. Okay, so here, everyone, I give you another 30 seconds. Let's just have a try, okay? Yes, have a try. What is it? Okay, well done. So firstly, we get 42 minus 2. This is the total distance. You see that the total distance is just 40. And then following this for each small jump, that is 2, right? So how many 2 can we make a 20? Oh, sorry. How many 2 can we make a 40? That is 20. But 20 just for 20 intervals. And then what should we do to figure out the number of terms? Based on the number of intervals, you need to add another one. So for the final answer, it should be 20 and then plus 1. So the answer is 21. Yes, very good. How come some students got 22? Pay attention. It is 21. 42 minus 2. The first term is 2. Then next one, again, the number is getting bigger. In the arithmetic sequence 13, 17, 21, until 113. So try to figure out which term will be the number 113. Here you can just regard 113 as the last term, and again, try to figure out what is the total distance and how many small jumps are there. Then based on the small jump, you can figure out the number of terms. Okay, have a try. Wow, Bill is so fast. Oh, so many different answers. Let me check. Some students got a 26. Some students got a 21. Some students got a 51. Think about it. Okay, now let me check out. So what is the answer? Well, firstly, we know that from 13 to 113, what is the total distance? It should be 100, right? And then following this, for every small jump, you see the number is increased by 4. So how many 4 can we make a 100? 100 divided by 4, that is 25. But can we just say that the final answer is 25? Cannot. Why? Because 25 is just for the number of jumps, which is the number of intervals. So following this, we need to add 1, okay? So here you can see that the final answer, it should be 26. Good job, good job, good job. Yes, that is 26. Any question now about the number of terms and the number of jumps? Okay. Yeah, these two parts are very basic because later I will show you how can we figure out the sum by number of jumps or the number of terms. Now, following this is the third part of the arithmetic sequence. How to figure out the total. As you can see, a train is made up of 8 carriages, each labeled from 1 to 8. Do you know the sum of the numbers on the 8 carriages? Well, you can see the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Also, it is an arithmetic sequence. Why? Because actually, you see, the gap between any two consecutive numbers is just a 1, right? As long as there is a common difference, actually, the arithmetic sequence, actually, it is the arithmetic sequence, okay? Then following this, let's have a look. I'd like to introduce two methods. Well, the first one, that is, maybe we just turn the train around and try to find the sum of the two carriages in each column. So for the first one, here you can see. Originally, it is arranged from the smallest number to the biggest number, 1 to 8. Now I turn it around, that is arranged from 8 back to 1. Okay, just like this. I see two trains, right? Now following this, you see, for every column, 1 and 8, 2 and 7, 3 and 6, 4 and 5, 5 and 4, 6 and 3, 7 and 2, 8 and 1. What can you get? You can see that the total is always what? It is always 9, right? And then how many columns are there? Actually is totally related to the number of terms. From number 1 to number 8, how many terms are there? There are 8 terms. So in order to figure out the sum of all these 16 carriages, we can get, actually it is just 1 plus 8, which is 9 for one column, and then 9 plus what? 9 plus 8, okay? 9 plus 8, then you can get the total is 72. So you see, this is a faster way for you to figure out the sum of these 16 carriages. You don't need to do it like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8, then plus 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, right? That is too slow. And then following this, you see, if 2 trains, they will get 72. Then what about the sum of 8 carriages only? The sum of the 8 carriages only, now that is for the 2 train, you just remove 1. You remove 1, how do we show that? Actually, that is just divided by 2, okay? So here you see, we can get 72 divided by 2, and what is the number? For the answer, it should be 36. Good job, okay? I saw that some students already figured out. Yeah, so this is also how we get the formula. The first term plus the last term, then times number of terms and divided by 2, okay? So again, let me explain more for the formula to help you better understand, okay? For the first one, first term plus the last term, what is the meaning? That is the sum of one column. And then multiply by the number of terms. That means how many columns are there? Actually, that is for how many terms are there. But if you just multiply them together, what will you get? You will get a double train. But what are you looking for? You are only looking for the sum of one train. So in the end, we need to divide the product by 2. Okay? Yeah. Any question of the formula here? So for such method, we also just call it as double train method. Yeah. And also here we have another method that is to pair up. As you can see, 1 plus 8 equals to 2 plus 7 equals to 3 plus 6 equals to 4 plus 5, right? Now you see how many pairs are there? According to the arrows, we can see there are 4 pairs. Then for each pair, you will get the sum is 9. So following this, what can you get? That is 4 times 9. Then the final answer is 36, okay? So basically, we have these two different methods to figure out the sum of an arithmetic sequence. Okay. Yeah. Now, everyone, it is your turn. No matter which method you choose, okay, try to figure out what is the sum of 13 plus 16 plus 19 plus 22 plus 25 plus 28 plus 31. Okay, have a try. Again, I give you 30 seconds. Got the answer? Okay. Now let's check together. Well, if you just wanna apply the formula, what we'll get? That is the first number plus the last number, right? Just imagine that now we have another train, which is 31, and then move on 28, and then move on 25, and then move on dot, 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 okay? You just turn the train around. So for each column, you can see that it should be 13 plus 31, right? And then how many terms are there? You can just count directly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, times 7. But do remember that after you multiply them, you will get a double train, but actually you only want one train. That is 2 divided by 2. Okay, so in this way, what is the answer? The answer should be 154. And also, we have another method, right? That is just to pair up. Well, 13 and 31, you can pair them up. 16 and 28, you can pair them up. 19 plus 25, you can pair them up. So actually, how many pairs are there? Pairs, we only have 3 pairs. But do remember that that is not the final answer. Because actually in the middle, we still have 22, okay? Do remember to plus 22 in the end. And also, you will get the answer, which is 154. Yeah. Any question now? Good. So now you see that we have 2 different methods if you already figure out the total number of terms. So what about if I change the question a bit? Now this time, you see, I put dot, dot, dot in the middle. So actually, what is the meaning of dot, dot, dot? That is, you just follow the same pattern and there are some missing numbers in the middle, but you cannot just imagine that they are not here, okay? So actually, what is the complete expression? It should be 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10 da, 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 until 22. Okay, so again, everyone have a try. What is the total of such number sequence? Yeah, firstly, try to figure out what is the number of terms. What is the number of terms? Think about it. From number 3 to number 22. Is it just a 22 minus 3? Are you sure? Yes, have a try. Okay. Firstly, everyone, could you please tell me how many terms are there from number 3 to number 22? Okay, it is not just the 22 minus 3. Pay attention. From number 1 to number 22, there are 22 numbers, right? But actually here, you only remove number 1 and number 2. You don't need to remove number 3, okay? So if you just apply 22 minus 3, actually that is you minus 1 and you minus 2 and you minus 3, which is wrong. So here, pay attention. Do remember to plus 1 in the end because you must add number 3 back. It is still here, okay? There are 20 numbers, and then what is the sum? Well, here, according to the formula, we know that we just turn the train around, right? That is the double train method. For each column, what is the sum? That is the first term plus the last term, which is 3 plus 22, okay? 3 plus 22, and then how many terms are there? Just now you already figured out there are 20 terms. Then we just times 20 and divide it by 2. So you can see that what is the final answer? Actually, the final answer should be 250. Yeah, there's a faster way for you. As you can see, 3 plus 22, that is 25, right? And then times 20 divided by 2, which means multiply by 10. Then 25 times 10, the answer is 250. Yes, 250. Is it hard? Is it hard? Okay, one more. Okay, calculate 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus ... plus 27 plus 29 plus 31. Okay, have a try. This one again. Try to figure out what is the number of terms first. Don't just count with your fingers, okay? Think about it. What is the total distance and what is the interval? So how many intervals are there? How many terms are there? Okay, have a try. Yeah, I can give you more seconds this time. Maybe 40 seconds, can? Yeah, you need to figure out the number of terms first. How do we figure out the number of terms? Yeah, remember that? From 3 to 31, what is the total distance and how many small distance are there? Okay. How many small jumps are there? Hmm? 705, 493. Okay, any other answer? Okay, 493 again. Okay, let me show you the number of terms first, okay? Then you can have a try. Well, firstly, you see that what is the total distance? The total distance should be 28, right? And how can we make it 28? That is every time we just plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. Then how many 2 are there? Altogether, we have 14 2's. But 14 is only for the number of jumps, which means 14 intervals. Then back to the number of terms, we need to add 1, okay? Add 1. So here we have 15 terms. Well, following this again, we just apply the formula. What is the first term plus the last term? That is 3 plus 31. Remember that? The small number and the big number, they are in one column, right? They're in one column, and then how many columns are there? We already figured out that there are 15 numbers, which means there are 15 columns. Then multiply them together, but do remember that you were looking for a double train, but actually you only want one train. So here, So here, actually, we have 34 times 15 and then divided by 2. So this is the final answer, 255. Yes, the final answer should be 255, okay? Yeah, everyone please check your workings. Which part is wrong? It should be 255. Yeah, okay. So here, let's have a quick summary of the arithmetic sequence. Well, basically, we have 3 different parts. The first one, that is how do we find the last term? When it comes to the last term, so actually it is based on how many jumps you are making. That is how many common differences are there, okay? Do remember that we always start from the first term, which is your starting point, okay? Don't miss it. We we're not always starting from 0. Then for the second one, it is about how to find the number of terms. For the number of terms, that is you need to figure out the total distance you jump and then divide it by the small difference. Yeah, so following this, for the sum of the series, actually I introduced the two methods for you. The first one, that is the double train method. We put a small number and the biggest number for one column. Then you can just check how many columns are there. And do remember to divide by 2 in the end, okay? Then the second one, that is called the rainbow method, or we just call it as a pair up method. So here you see two numbers can make one pair, two numbers can make a one pair. And if there is any number left in the middle, you just add it separately, okay? Yeah. Okay, so here again, let's have a look. What is the formula? That is for the first term plus the last term, then times number of terms, divide by 2. Yes. Now let's move on to the second part. It is for the comparison and the replacement word problem. Well, for the last round of live streams, I already introduced some basic types of question, right? Just like the skill question, like how do we find a little helper and how do we cancel? So here, let's move on to the word problem. Let's start from an easy one. 1 cookie and 2 donuts cost $13. How much does 2 cookies and 4 donuts cost? What is the price? This one should be easy for you. Okay, good. So here, let me show you with some pictures, right? Okay, maybe you can just take this as one box. So in one box, you will see 1 cookie and 2 donuts. So how can you get 2 cookies and 4 donuts? You just buy 2 boxes, right? So here, what is the total? The total is 26. But since it is a word problem, actually we cannot always draw out some pictures, right? So here, let me show you how do we list the equation. Well, according to the sentence, we can build the equation like 1c plus 2d, that is 13. And what is the question asking you? The question is asking you what is the value of 2c plus 4d? Well, we already know that it is 26, and let's try to observe. From 1c to 2c, from 2d to 4d, from 13 to 26. So what can you find? You will see that here, for every part of the equation, we must multiply by 2 at the same time. Okay, so here, as long as you want to change one number, do remember that you must change the number of the rest parts as well in order to make sure the equation is still correct. Okay, now following this, let's move on. Here, everyone, read the question and try to write down the 2 equations on your paper first. Okay, here I give you 20 seconds. Have a try. Quickly. Just write down the equation, okay? 2 identical basketballs and 3 identical volleyballs cost $195. 4 such basketballs and 5 such volleyballs cost $355. Do you finish? If you finish, please show me a thumb up with your emoji. Click. Finished? Well done. Now let's move on, okay? Here again, firstly, let me show you with some pictures. As you can see, 2 basketballs and 3 volleyballs, that is $195. 4 basketballs and 5 volleyballs cost $355. So here, everyone, can you find some relationship between the numbers? From 2 to 4, it is very easy, right? So what should we do? We just times 2. And just as I said before, if you want to change one part of the equation, you must change the rest parts at the same time. So now, let me put another one. Here you can see. Let's just compare how come there's the difference for the final answer. You have 4 basketballs. I have 4 basketballs. You have 6 volleyballs. I have 5 volleyballs. Then how much should you pay more? Actually, that is just the difference, right? So in this way, we can get, as long as you wanna buy one more valuable, so actually what is the money you need to pay by the difference between 355 and 390? So the picture is just to help you understand the question, and then let's move on to the equation part. Well, firstly, according to the questions, we can get two equations. 2b plus 3b equals to 195. Yes, and then 4b plus 5v equals to 355. And just now, what did we do? Well, we want to turn 2 into 4, right? That is, for the first equation, you must multiply it by 2. Then you will get 4b plus 6v equals to 390. Okay, so here pay attention. 2 to 4, then 3 to 6, and then 195 to 390. Then following this, you can just compare equation 2 and equation 3. 3 minus 2, you will get one valuable cost $35. Yes. Okay, and also you can see that the question is asking you what is the, the question is asking you what is the cost of each valuable, right? So which part should we cancel? Well, we need to find a way to cancel basketball, okay? So here you see 4b, then we can cancel. We always remove the same part, okay? Now for the next one, 5 identical basketballs and 6 identical volleyballs cost $320. 2 such basketballs and 3 such volleyballs cost $140. What is the cost of one basketball? Okay, have a try again. Firstly, I give you 20 seconds. Try to write down the equations on your paper. If you finish, again, please just answer with the emoji, with a thumb up, okay? Have a try. Just write down the equation. How can we turn the long sentences into the equations? Oh, so fast. Some students already figured out the answer. Ah. Okay, good. So following this again here, this should be your equations, right? 5b plus 6v equals to 320. 2b plus 3v equals to 140. Are you correct? Then following this, let's have a look. You just observe. 3 and 6, there's a multiple relationship, right? So here, let's turn 3 into 6. Well, 3 to 6, then again, as long as you want to change one part of the equation, you must change all the rest parts. 2 to 4 and 140 to 280. Then following this, we just compare equation 1 and equation 3. While you have 5 basketballs, I have 4 basketballs. You have 6b, I have 6b as well. So the same part can just be cancelled. Then we can get 1b equals to 40. Yes, so this is answer. We have 40. So why is it hard for you? I think it should be okay because actually we learned the basic one before, right? Okay, again, let me show you with the picture. 5 basketballs, 6 volleyballs, 320. And then 2 basketballs, 3 volleyballs, that is 140. So here we just double it to get 280. Then we can get, as long as you want to buy one more basketball, so actually you need to pay for another $40, right? The equal part can just be canceled. Yeah. Then, this question, very tricky. Okay, let me check. How many of you can answer it correctly? This question. Not hard. Yeah, it is not hard, but very easy to make mistake. Okay, let me check A, B, C, D. What is your answer? 1 jug of water can fill up 4 glasses completely. 1 pail of water can fill up 2 jugs completely. 2 pounds of water can fill up how many glasses completely? Let me check what is the answer. D? Are you sure? What is the pail? The question or the picture already show you what is the pail, huh? I see some mistakes. Okay, let me show you. The answer should be A. It should be 16. Why? Cannot believe, right? Okay. Now some student says, okay, I know 1 jug that is 4, right? 4. And then this one 4. Okay, and this one 4. Then 4 plus 4. Why not 8? Why not? Why not? Because the question is asking you 2 pounds of water. Okay, so you can see that for 1 pound of water, yeah, it is 8. But what about the 2 pounds? 2 pounds, it should be 16. Okay, so here we choose A. I told you it is not hard, right? But also very easy to choose C. Okay, so following this, let's move on to the next one. Oh, this is my favorite drink. 6 cups of bubble tea and 4 cups of cola cost $70. Each cup of bubble tea costs $5 more than each cup of cola. What is the cost of a cup of bubble tea? Well, firstly, let me show you 6 cups of bubble tea and then plus 4 cups of cola. I just show you directly. Any other information we can get? Well, we know that 1 bubble tea is $5 more than 1 cup of cola. Okay, let me show you. Then following this, what can we get? Well, everyone, you see that there's some internal relationship between the price of 1 bubble tea and the price of 1 cup cola, right? So how do we figure out? For the first equation, you can see there are 6 cups of bubble tea. Well, 1 cup that is equal to 1 cup of cola plus $5. What about the 2 cups? That is plus another cola and another 5. And what about the 3 cups of bubble tea? That is another cup of cola and another $5. So following this, let's have a look. Actually, how many cups of cola and how many $5 are there for 6 cups of bubble tea? Good job. It should be 6 cups and plus $30. Okay. So following this, everyone actually can just count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then plus $30 equals to $70. I think for the rest of the part, it should be very easy for you to do the calculation. So again, let me show you how can we turn such type of question into the equation. Okay. Let's just build up the equation. 6b plus 4c, that is equal to 70. Yeah, good job. Okay. And then 1b equals to c plus 5. So here, we just replace the bubble tea by the cola and the $5. Then you can get 6 bracket. Why do we put a bracket here? Look here, because it is for a whole part, okay? For the cola and the $5, you just take it as a group. To show this is a group, we need to add the brackets. Then following this for the rest of the following part, I think it is quite easy. Now you see that we can figure out the price of 1 cup of cola, that is $4. But is 4 my final answer? No, because the question is asking you what is the cost of 1 cup of bubble tea, okay? So there is still one more step. It should be B equals to 4 plus 5. So the final answer should be 9, okay? Yeah, good. Many students got it correctly. Well done. Remember the bracket out. Bracket is very important. That is a group, okay? So next one, I think this is also the last one. Let me check. Yeah, okay. So here, Selena spent $31 on 3 frisbees and then 2 balls and 1 toy car. 1 frisbee and 1 ball cost $11. 1 ball and 1 toy car cost $12. What is the price of 1 ball in dollars? Well, firstly, again, let me show you. How can we turn such question into the equations? Well, there are 3 sentences, right? So we can build the 3 equations. Then following this, try to observe. Everyone, you see, 1F plus 1b equals to 11. 1b plus 1t equals to 12. Well, you can see that for both the frisbee and the toy car, they are related to the price of ball. So what about if we just try to replace both of the prices here by ball? Then you can just get for one frisbee, it should be equal to 11 minus b, right? And what about for one toy car? That is 12 minus b. Well, now maybe we can just back to the first equation and let's write down everything with letter B. So firstly, what about f? F is already changed into 11 minus b. Again, there is a group, okay? It is a group, so please add a bracket. The next one, b, you don't need to change, okay? We just keep it. Then plus 1t. What is t? That is 12 minus b, so that is why we write it here. Then following this, you can just remove the brackets. Okay, again, everyone, you see, this is about the distributive law. So when you want to remove the brackets, look, 3 times 11 minus 3 times b, okay? And following this, since it is additional sign before the bracket, you don't need to change the subtraction sign in the bracket. So following this, we can get 1b equals to 7. Yeah, but any other way. Yeah, to be honest, this is a more general method, but you know that for such question, there is a tricky part. Yeah, let me show you some tips and tricks. Here, look, I can also list the information in another way. That is, f plus f plus f plus b plus b plus t equals to 31, right? So what can I get? Now, 3 frisbees, 2 balls, and 1 toy car. This is just another way, right? So following this is kind of like the tip and trick in calculation. We learned it before. Grouping method. So where is the group? Now you see, 1f plus 1b, that is 11. Any other group? Well, 1b plus 1t, that is 12. So following this, what can we get? Of course, you can figure out the value of f, right? So here we can get 1f equals to 4. Now following this, if f equals to 4, then what about b? You see that the group is 11. So the ball should be 11 minus 4. So this is another way we get 7. Yeah, easy? I know that many students like the second method, but pay attention, you are not always so lucky, okay? So for the first method, you must understand how do we replace by the same item, okay? Yeah. So actually, this is the end, and let me just show you some summary, okay? When it comes to comparison and replacement word problem, well, for the first type, that is how do we find the short in long? So here, you can find that the items are on the same side in both equations. Then for the second one, that is for the little exchanger helper, just like the pearl and the glass question, right? But do remember that you must read the question carefully, okay? Then the last part, it is about how to apply. Well, same variables has the same amount. So here we can just do some directly subtract or directly replace. And same variable has a different amount, then you must find a multiple relationship. And do remember that as long as you change one part, you must change all the rest of parts at the same time as well. Okay? So this is the end, and later I will share the homework in our group. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.